here are the four things that employers like about software engineers, and I'm talking about employers who are in the like CEOs, not software lead developers or senior software engineers, because I think a lot of developers or new developers coming into this field are always trying to impress the lead developer or the senior developer instead of the actual employer, which are the business owners and the CEOs. And most likely they'll be the one who's going to make the final decision. Most likely the lead developer will be the one who's going to give suggestions towards which candidate to choose. But all in all, ultimately the business owner will have the last say into that decision. And the first one would be that you you know the value of what you're coding. So the first one would be in a business sense that you should know what your code is valued at. When I say that, is that in my experience, it is good to have technical skills. It's good to have knowledge about the latest technology out there, or what's the new thing, what's the cutting edge technology. But there's a big but, yeah. But most employers, especially the not so technical ones, are not interested in those. And so if you really want to be like like robust and that you can woo an employer easily, is that you should know what the value of your code is. So in my experience, I work in fintech. Most of my career I've been in financial technology, so I would know the monetary value of what I did. So for example, I created this payment gateway that saved us a lot of money, and so maybe I could do it onto your system. Then employers would be glad to hear that, instead of talking about, hey, I know how to use TypeScript, I know how to use the Tailwind CSS, I know all the new frameworks. They wouldn't get that. They would like to know what your code is valued at, in especially financially, what it is valued at. So for example, we've created an app that tells you what your financial standpoint is in your country, and so how to compute your taxes in different countries and different states, blah 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 blah. And that, because of it, we've gained 17,000 users. So that's value compared to knowing all the cutting edge technologies. So I mean, it's good to have that, but in order to woo employers really, that would be the first thing I would suggest, is that you should know the value of your code. So you should know why you added that feature, what that feature meant to the company, and what yeah, the financial aspects of that feature that you've made, or the bug fix that you did, so that you could really put it on your resume or something. Anyway, the second one would be the ability to work with others. So this is carried out not only by what you say, but how you say things. So in interviews, you may get rejected. I got rejected a lot, but it's because mm, not of my technical prowess per se, but because the culture doesn't fit. And so when and also I'm the one rejecting other teams as well, because their culture doesn't fit me. And I think culture is really really important. And so if I value culture that much, that I wouldn't accept job offers because of culture, how much more are employers going to be, they're going to be picky about people they're going to hire, because business owners will, there's a lot of stake for them if the person they hired isn't fit with the culture, especially in development or app development. a lot of our a lot of our time is used in synergy and team building, and it is very important because it the how cohesive the team is just how you measure how well the app is going to be. And so, they mostly ask you in the interviews like, what are your hobbies, what do you do? And sometimes it's a casual, it sounds like a casual questions, it sounds like casual questions, but it's really more on trying to understand what you are, what you really do, what are your hobbies, and the way you say things, the way you express your hobbies to them, the way you explain how things work. They really see that in the way you talk, and they'll see if if your humor is also the same as theirs. Sometimes if you make a joke and it doesn't land, it's like, nah, it's already an uphill battle from there. But if your land I mean but if your joke lands, and it lands pretty well, and then that's like a good sign that, hey, maybe you'll get hired. And the last one would be domain knowledge. And when I say domain knowledge, it's mostly your knowledge in terms of the field you're trying to enter in. So let's say there are two candidates in a position for a software engineer. The first one is more experienced. Let's say this is candidate A, and he's more experienced. Candidate B is not so experienced, but he was selling insurance before you applied for this position as a software engineer in an insurance company. Most likely they're going to hire the one who already sold insurance, because that person may not be as skilled as the other person, but he has the knowledge on the workarounds, and how things work from the back end. So maybe the company doesn't need to explain much to this person, because he knows how insurance work, how it gets sold, how it gets processed in the offices. And so he already has domain knowledge on how things works with insurance. So they might hire him instead of the more technical guy who's maybe worked in construction logistics or whatever. And that's what I meant by domain knowledge. When I first got started, I was in fintech, and so the next one I've been hired to was fintech as well. And then I went into logistics in terms of shipping. So I created apps and monitoring apps in inventory for that. And then the next one is they like my experience in logistics, so they made me create an inventory system for their company, and so on. And that's how you get the ball rolling, because you have experience in different fields. Or you may say that you know how inventories work, how taxes gets paid, how to compute them. And so they might want you to implement things that you have implemented with other companies as well. And so they that's domain knowledge, and they really like that about software engineers. And so, yeah, you can be a front end developer, and then you mostly work with front end stuff, how what people see. And so you have domain knowledge in UI and marketing that would help your front end development, because there's psychology involved in creating UIs or user experience, and that's really going to help you. And that's why there's this book that uh, you shouldn't be a master of one, but a master of two. Like two things that complement each other. Let's say in boxing, you have Manny Pacquiao and his coach Freddie Roach, and so it's like a mastery of two things. The one has the physical prowess, and while the coach has the technical, mastery. And so combining them, Manny Pacquiao had become an unstoppable force. And so, yeah, when it comes to domain knowledge, it's like a second mastery that complements your ability to develop apps, develop websites, and so on. And those are the three things that I would say employers really love about software engineers. And hopefully I could make this a series because there's still a lot of things that involve being hired as a software engineer. Not just these three that I've mentioned. You know, there's a lot of factors, but as for me, based on my experience as a software engineer for almost 6 years now, I think those are the things that really got me hired and that really worked for me. And yeah, see you on the next one. Bye.